welcome guys to another episode of D.C.C. Channel Do News, where death comes for certain. I am your host, Warlock Supreme Warlock, or as my fans call me, the Warlock. Well, my friends and fans, mostly friends. Anywho guys, today's episode of D.C.C. Channel Do News, so many updates. Today's episode is going to be the events, or a lot of things that happened last night. Now, usually last night, I know you guys have been waiting for the King to host his annual Wednesday Night Raw. Well, sadly, the King had some. I'm not going to put too much out there because this is business, but I will say the King wasn't able to do any live streams yesterday because of his operation he had done on his side. It's nothing major. He's fine right now. He's doing good. Hopefully he'll be better next time for you guys. So that's good. He originally wanted to plan for his co-host Shy or Black Angel to be the host for him, but she had to go over her grandma's help out there. So our newest member, X-Man, or Bobby X, whatever he wants to be called as, I'm going to call him X-Man. Our newest member, X-Man, though, stepped up and said since the King's not able to do a live stream, he's mentioned he got 2K17 on the Xbox, and he could do a live stream. I'll put a link to his. Now, sadly, he couldn't do. Oh my god, wow, I lost the link. That is really embarrassing. That is not the link, that is not the thing I wanted to paste. That sucks. Anywho, I will post a link in the comments below next music break. When this uploads to YouTube, the link to the live stream or Facebook Live will be in the description below. But anywho, as I was saying, he wanted to post it on YouTube, to keep it in tradition of what the King does. But sadly, he ran into complications, so he decided, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna make a Facebook Live, and I was like, that's fine, man. I'll just put a link in the description below. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description. Now, the storyline he has is different than the storyline that the King has, which, to categorize that, whenever the King does a live stream, his is just regular Wednesday Night Raw. And then when I do my podcast about it, it's just going to be the regular Raw talk. Now, when X-Man does his Facebook Live of his 2K17 story, it's going to be for the 360. So basically, two different universes. We have the PS4 universe with Naji's storyline. So we'll not continue Naji. The King's storyline. Please excuse me for that hellish blooper I just did. My god. I meant to say the King, but I was reading his name. Okay. But yeah. So, last night's episode of Wednesday Night Raw didn't interfere with the King's storyline on the PS4. Instead, it looked into X-Man's storyline in the 360, following the Brothers Supreme, which is so far it was me and him. But as I go on discussing this, we're going to be discussing a lot has happened, a lot of new members joined his tag team family. Just like we're getting more people in the Supreme Crew family over in the PS4 universe. Anywho, guys, without further ado, though, first I want to say congratulations because I've never made a video about this, but congratulations to the two newest recent members of Team Do, which is X-Man and the King. I know the King has been on Team Do for a while now, but I didn't properly give him a shout-out video. So this one's to you, X-Man and King. Shout-out. Thanks again for joining the family. Glad to have you aboard. And just like that, guys, we're going to get right into it. Before I do, though, I'm going to cut to a commercial. I'm going to cut to a music break right now so I can find that link for you guys. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Welcome, guys, and I hope you enjoyed that. And boom, there's the bell right there, which means we've reached the halfway mark. I know I've been talking too much in the beginning with 2 breaks. Anywho, guys, let's get back into business while we have time. So the first match that happened in the 360 version of Wednesday Night Raw was the Sorcerer Supreme, not yours truly. I'm Warlock, please. Not a sorcerer. I go by Warlock. Sorcerer Supreme is my brother in the mystical arts. The mystical arts. But yeah, Sorcerer Supreme versus the Destroyer Samoa Joe. Now that match was really interesting. Samoa Joe put up a good fight. Sorcerer Supreme, both fighters, both athletes did very well. But Sorcerer Supreme came up on top with a pinfall. The next two matches were a recruiting match, which by recruiting match, I mean yours truly, the Warlock Supreme and Sorcerer Supreme. We both wanted to expand our family, the Family Supreme we called it, and the Sorcerer Supreme had his choice. I had mine, and with his choice that went up first was Sasha Banks, the legit boss. So to prove herself, she had to go up against the Queen, the Queen Charlotte. I love how I just messed up on that. With managers Ric Flair and Sorcerer Supreme on the sidelines. The match was really good, but in the end, it was Sasha Banks who won by by submitting the bank statement. So she won by submission, which incidentally she won twice. She had 2 matches and twice were won by submission. So it was amazing. I'll get to that one in a minute. Anywho, the next match was Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch, which Becky Lynch was my choice to join the family in the 360 universe. So if she won that match, she would have joined the Family Supreme. And surprisingly, looked like Alexa was going to come out on top, but Becky, she was able to pull out and prove she was the Irish Lass Kicker. So both Sasha and Becky had won their initiation matches, and they became part of the Supreme, or Family Supreme. Now, he did something different that you don't normally see on the PS4 universe. With his 360 universe of 2K17, he did a time skip, to where by time skip I mean the settings was in WrestleMania. So I guess it's a time skip to WrestleMania, and to that he had a mixed matchup between Warlock and Becky versus Cena and Nikki. And let me tell you what, boy, I was fanboying. Just, oh my god. I was like, holy crap. Tag team with Becky versus John Cena and Nikki? It's insane, let me tell you what. But anywho, that match, that was a good match. And it was surprisingly good. Surprisingly, John Cena kicked out of the mystical walls. Just like in the PS4 version, I got the mystical walls in the 360. You can't escape them. But even though he kicked out of the mystical walls, he still wasn't no match for the Warlock Supreme and the Irish Lass Kicker, as we take the top. We take the cake and we won. Following that, the next event was another mixed match, which mixed match by means male and female versus male and female. And that one was Triple H versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Sorcerer Supreme and Sasha Banks. Again, if you want to see the matches I'm talking about, feel free to look in the link in the description once this uploads to YouTube, or if you're watching me live, I posted the link in the comments below. So check that out. Let Bobby X or X-Man know your thoughts. I'm gonna call him X-Man right now. If I switch between the two, it's because I don't know. But yeah, comment below on that video. Let them know your thoughts about that once you see it. Anywho, the second mixed matchup. The winner for that, like I said, was Sorcerer Supreme and Sasha Banks by submissions for the second time. Sasha won by submission, and she's the one that made Stephanie McMahon submit. That's twice. You had 2 divas tap out to the bank statement. So, congrats to Sorcerer Supreme and Sasha Banks again, and also congrats to me and Becky Lynch for winning that match. I had to rush over because there was a minute left. Let me just click my minute bell. Now it takes us to the main event, and this one was actually pretty good. It was quite intense. It's kind of jumping the gun a bit with this, but I guess Sorcerer Supreme and Triple H got called into a Hell in a Cell match. I guess Triple H got tired of Sorcerer Supreme's SHIT and called him out. And what happened was, I guess this kind of match was a special match because basically both athletes pitted everything on the line. Which I mean by that, if Sorcerer Supreme were to lose this Hell in a Cell match, he'd get sent back to NXT. In other words, he would be fired. And if Triple H lost, that means he would give leadership and rights over of WWE to Sorcerer Supreme over in the 360 universe. Now that match was pretty intense. It went from the inside of the cage to the top of the cage, Triple H falling off the cage, Dr. Strange coming in some close calls, able to, I don't know what kind of slam he did, but he slammed Triple H through the cage. But overall, Sorcerer Supreme takes it up top with submission. So Sorcerer Supreme takes it on top with Triple H tapping out to the mystical walls. And we have 2 seconds left.